All right, let's see what we're going to do for the test tomorrow. The first one, number 1, oops, forgot to change this. Again, there's only 10 questions on this test. Just because some of these problems take a lot longer than what we're used to, right? Some of the substitution elimination, especially with the 3 variables, takes a while. And yeah, the matrix thing and then the minimum maximum take a while. So anyway, I only gave you 10. So the first one is you solve systems of equations. Systems of equations. Number 1 is 2 variables, so x and y. And then, of course, what do you think number 2 is? Systems of equations with 3 variables. The one with 2 shouldn't take you too long. The one with 3, yeah, it's a little bit more involved. All right, so, but we've done plenty of those in here. And then we start with matrices. So really, from 3 to 9, all have to do with matrices. It starts off super easy. It starts off where you just add a couple matrices. So I'll give you some matrices. I'll give you matrix A, B, and C, all right? And it'll be listed for you. And then number 3, you're just going to add a couple of those matrices together. Super easy, all right? Number 4, you're going to subtract. That's the main thing, but you're also need to know how to multiply by a, multiply by a scalar. That's really super easy. You remember what a scalar is? What's a scalar? If I multiply a scalar times a matrix, what do? What is the scalar? Describe to me just in regular words. Yeah, it's just like a whole number. It's just a regular, well, it doesn't have to be a whole number. It could be it could be any number or any real number. It's just a regular number, okay, outside of a matrix. And just like Micah said, you take that number and you multiply it by everything in the matrix, okay? You might have to do that and subtract the matrices from each other. So that's number 4. All right, number 5, you're actually going to multiply 2 matrices. Now, there is a special way to do that. Remember, you go across the top row, multiply it by the first column. Remember that? Then the second row, second column, and so forth, depending on how many. All right. Who's got 100 so far? Then 6. It's just a 2 by 2 determinant. That's the easy version. What do you think number 7 is? A 3 by 3. That's where it gets a little more complicated. Well, we've taught it. All right, and then number 8, you're going to find the inverse of a matrix. All right, we got a little method to do that. Then on number 9, we're going to actually use determinants and inverse of a matrix and all that kind of thing to solve a system of equations. So again, it's another system of equations. But this time, how are we going to solve this system of equations? Using a matrix, that's right. Using a matrix. Or I should say using matrices or whatever. The problem says use a matrix equation, using a matrix equation. All right. So it wasn't too long ago we learned how to do those. By the way, now I'm thinking about it. Up here, you can use what methods? Yeah, use substitution or elimination. Okay? Doesn't matter. I don't tell you which one to use. You are not doing one where you're going to do a solve by graphing. All right? Just thought that was a little simple. So we're going to do substitution or elimination. You pick whatever one you think is appropriate, all right, to do for that. And then number 10, what do you think number 10 is? The one we just did, right? The one we just talked about. And that's the maximum minimum. And I just ask you to find the maximum minimum. So you're not finding the point that's associated with the maximum and the point that's associated with the minimum. You're just finding the maximum and you're finding the minimum, just like they asked you on that last homework. Okay? And again, on number 10, I just looked at it. It's a relatively easy version of that. It's not a real hard one. You're not going to have any y-intercepts that have fractions or anything like that, okay? So it should graph nice and easy. It'll line up exactly where you think it should line up, all right? So it shouldn't be that bad. But you got to know the process. You got to be able to graph it, shade it in, find the points of intersection, throw those points into your function for x and y, and then you can find the max, and then you can find the min. Okay? And that's your test right there. We got about 9 minutes left. Do you have any questions on any of this stuff? Take a picture of it. It's going to be on the YouTube. All right. Take a picture. I don't care. Yeah. I will have a graph for number 10. So you don't have to graph it yourself. I mean, you'll have to graph it, but I have like a graph paper thing with the grids and all that stuff on there. Yeah. So you don't have to draw the graph part of it, okay? All right, so there's up to 6. Here's 7 to 10 if you want to take a picture of that. But it's on YouTube. And you should have been taking notes yourself. Ashton, hold up your notes. See, look, hold them up for everybody to see. Don't be ashamed. Be proud. Be proud. All right? She took notes on everything I just did, so there shouldn't be any reason to have to take a picture, to tell you the truth, because you should have it in your notes. All right. Sorry to embarrass you, but it was for a good thing. You did the right thing. All right. Now's the time to ask some questions on how to do some of these. Maybe we can look at a problem in the book. You can just tell me which problem, and then we can do it. Or you look at it and you're like, I know how to do all of these. Anybody feel that way? Nobody's answering me? Which one? Okay. Find a problem. So we're going to multiply two matrices together. So, and I'll tell you right now. Let's see. Yeah, they're 2 by 2s. Okay, so two 2 by 2 matrices. So I'll give you a huge hint. So it's probably sections, probably early on. Oh, I think it's before that, isn't it? Let me see. I think it's 2, 3, isn't it? Yeah. All right, I'm looking in the book on page 83. Okay, so I'm using these. Now on the test, I don't use these exact same numbers, but it'll be just like it, except the numbers will just be different. So I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking on page 83, matrix A. They give it as 5, 7, negative 6, 1, 5, 7, negative 6, 1. And then matrix B is 3, 5, negative 1, 8. All right, and what we're trying to do is we are trying to find AB. Everybody understand? It's going to be written like this. It'll say find AB. What does that mean? We take this matrix, multiply it by this matrix. Okay? So, first of all, can we multiply them together? Because you can't multiply every single style of matrix. This is a what? It's 2 by 2, and this is a 2 by 2. Where do we always look? The 2 in the middle. If those are the same numbers, then yes, we can multiply it. So what's my answer going to be? What's the word? What by what? The dimensions. Dimensions. Thank you. What are the dimensions going to be? 2 by 2, right? So 2 by 2 is pretty easy. Yes, you can multiply them together, and your answer is going to be a 2 by 2. All right? Everybody with me? So what are we going to do? We're going to multiply across here and then down here. But what do we do in between the multiplications? We add them together, right? So I'm going to go 5 times 3, which is 15. And then I'm going to go 7 times -1, which is -7. So it's plus -7. I'm just going to put -7. It's a little easier to see. Everybody with me on that? That's my first number that's going to go right here. And then I multiply the first row times the second column. I go in the same kind of order. So now I'm going to go what? 5 times 5, which is 25. And then I'm going to go 7 times 8, which is 56. I put a plus because it's all positive. Put a minus here because I was adding a -1, right? Well, a -7, I should say. All right, now we're done with the first one. Now we take the second row, multiply it by the first. And then we'll take the second row and multiply it by the second column. Okay? Everybody good? So now let's go -6 times 3, which is -18, and then 1 times -1, which is -1, so I just put -1. Then one more. Now I take the first row times the second column. So it's -6 times 5 is -30, and then 1 times 8 is +8. And now you just add these together and you're good to go. 15 minus 7 is what? 8. This is 1181, is that right? This is -19, and this is -22. All right, and that's your answer right there. Remember how to do that? Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? I only got 4 minutes. But you can always go back, watch the videos, right? I told you everything's coming on the quiz, every type of problem, so you can always go back and see how to solve them. 3 by 3 determinants. Okay. Can you find one? That's probably like, what, 2-5, something like that? Yeah. I'll just do the example, okay? So this is on page 99. It's example 2 from section 2.5. So -4, -6, and 2. 5, -1, 3. -2, 4, -3. All right, so we're finding the determinant of this thing. Okay, so what we do is we take this first one. Remember this? Everybody look. Remember, you take this. Okay. And then what's left over? If I take that first one, I put it out here, and then I go like this. Anybody still watching? Yes. Remember, the first one's going to be the sign that it is. It goes positive, negative, positive. When I say positive, does that mean this is always going to be positive? No, it's going to be whatever the sign was right here. All right? And then the next one's going to be the opposite sign. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to put a plus. Why? Because that was a -6. I take the opposite sign, so that's going to be a +6. Right? And so now I get rid of this and I get rid of this, and what do I have now? I got a 5, a 3, a -2, and a -3. Let's just do this problem. I don't have enough time. And then this stays the same. It's going to be this one. Since it's already positive, it stays positive. And then I find the determinant, right? Get rid of that, get rid of this. So here's what's left over. So I've got 5, -1, negative 2, and 4. Now, how do we find the determinant? Yeah, we multiply and then subtract. Okay, so we multiply, so that's a 3, and then we subtract that. Everybody good? And then this is 6. Yeah, no, not on determinants. Determinants, that's when you multiply matrices when you subtract or when you add them. This is subtraction. So I multiply that. A lot of people are, stop, 8. That's negative 15 minus negative 6, which would be plus 6. Almost done. Multiply here. That's 20 minus, this is going to be a positive 2, so it's minus 2. You can do the math, and that becomes 18 once you do that. Yeah, let me have your homework before you leave. Tell Connor, he walked out without giving it. So put it on this chair right here, the homework. If everybody could put it right side up, it'd be appreciated.